If being helpful was enough to get me mistaken for some kind of pizza sauce stock clerk, then simply existing in the wrong place turned that entire week into a string of absurd encounters. There was the bookstore loft incident. I had just picked up a new novel, carrying a big paper shopping bag and a coffee. At one point, nature called, so I stepped into the men's restroom. Both stalls were taken. I was awkwardly juggling my bag and coffee when the handicap stall door suddenly slammed open. Before I could even move toward the urinal, there was a loud, aggressive knock on the stall door that made me jump. I tried to ignore it, but then it came again, louder. Finally, I heard a muffled voice shout, "Thanks for cleaning up in there." I finished quickly and stepped out, confused, still holding my bag. And there he was, this older man staring at me, then glancing at my shopping bag, clearly thinking it was some kind of cleaning kit. He stumbled over his words, apologizing, saying he thought I worked there. Laughed it off, brushing it aside as just another strange moment, at least he was polite about it. But before I could walk away, he suddenly grabbed my hand, shook it once, pulled me closer, and kissed me on the cheek like it was completely normal. Then he just walked off, leaving me standing there stunned with my coffee and bag. It was beyond weird, not charming, not cultural, just uncomfortable and invasive. That moment didn't make me an employee, but it definitely made me part of someone else's bizarre reality. I was ready to chalk the whole week up to some cosmic joke when the main event happened, the one that really defined everything. It was Saturday, and I was at the Timber Yard, a big hardware store, browsing string lights. I was riding a mobility scooter covered in goofy ghost stickers. The scooter was temporary, thanks to nerve issues that flared up after my divorce, making movement difficult for a while. I was wearing jeans and a floral top, clearly not dressed like an employee. At first, I helped a kind older man find an adapter. He thanked me and went on his way, and for a moment I felt good, like maybe I could just help someone and move on. That optimism didn't last. Suddenly, she appeared. "I'll call her Vera." She asked where the pink spackling compound that dries white was. I pointed her in the right direction and told her to look for an employee in an orange apron. She immediately insisted I show her. I repeated that I didn't work there and started to move away on my scooter. That's when she snapped. She stepped directly in front of me, blocking my path. I hit the brakes, but those scooters don't stop instantly. The footplate nudged her leg, not hard, just enough to make contact. Her reaction was explosive. It wasn't pain, it was performance. She shrieked dramatically, hopping on one foot, clutching her leg like she'd been seriously injured, yelling that I had tried to run her over and demanding a manager, the police, even threatening to sue the store. Employees rushed over, followed by the manager. Vera pointed at me, calling me a lazy employee and accusing me of trying to kill her. I kept calm and explained that I didn't work there and that she had stepped in front of me. The manager told us to wait while he checked the security footage. It felt like standing trial in the Halloween aisle for simply existing. When he returned, he addressed the employees first, calmly stating that the footage clearly showed me moving away and Vera deliberately stepping in front of the scooter. Then he turned to her and told her she was exaggerating and that her threats were baseless. He warned her to leave immediately or face a permanent ban. She deflated instantly and was escorted out without another word. The silence after her exit was more satisfying than anything I could have said. The manager thanked me for my patience and gave me a generous gift card. I finally got my decorations, but that week had already left its mark. From false accusations to strange encounters and outright entitlement, it felt like a constant test of boundaries. It showed me how some people will invent entire situations just to justify their expectations of strangers. And honestly, it made me wonder if it's just entitlement or something deeper, like an inability to accept kindness without trying to claim control over it. I'm curious what you think. Have you ever dealt with something like this? Let me know your thoughts, and if you've ever had to defend yourself against someone acting like that, you'll understand exactly how ridiculous it can get. I thought the hardest part of my year would be my divorce, but instead I got a full week of non-stop chaos that made me feel like the accidental star of multiple absurd stories. And it all started with a borrowed jumpsuit and a woman who refused to accept reality. It was Monday morning, freezing cold, and I was standing at a bus stop waiting for the 8:05, dressed in what looked like a mechanic's uniform straight out of an old movie. My job had a Halloween event, and instead of spending money on a costume, I borrowed my friend Leo's actual work jumpsuit, complete with grease stains and his name stitched on it along with his shop's logo. The irony was that I don't even drive due to limited vision in one eye, so there I was, a non-driving mechanic waiting for public transport. Then I heard fast approaching footsteps. A woman rushed up, frantic, asking me to fix her car that had broken down nearby. I explained it was just a costume and that I wasn't a mechanic, but she didn't believe me. She accused me of lying, insisted I was just refusing to help, and even claimed I was letting her child sit in a broken car out of laziness. The argument dragged on until my bus arrived, and she shouted that she would report me and get me fired. I thought that was the end of it, but later that day my friend called, furious and laughing at the same time. She had actually tracked down his workplace and falsely accused me of taking money and stealing from her. It was unbelievable how far someone would go just because they felt entitled to help from a stranger. And that was only the beginning, because the rest of the week continued in the same bizarre pattern, where every small act of kindness somehow turned into an assumption that I owed people something, like I was no longer just a person but a resource they had the right to use, thinking I was hilarious, just coasting on that little joke, when suddenly I heard it, those sharp, frantic heels echoing fast behind me. And then, boom, Brenda enters like she's on a stage, completely panicked. "Excuse me, sir. Sir, my car just died right there, completely dead, and I'm late. You've got the uniform on, can you please just check under the hood?" she practically shrieked, waving wildly towards some beat-up sedan across the street. I blinked at her, already feeling my patience drain, and said, "Ma'am, I'm really sorry, but this is just a costume. It's Halloween. I'm on my way to a work event. I'm not actually a mechanic." She just stared at me, completely blank, like she didn't believe a word. "I wasn't born yesterday," she said, cold as ice. Great, I thought, we're starting hostile. I tried again, extra polite this time, explaining the costume thing, but she just crossed her arms, tilted her head like I was some kind of puzzle, and snapped, "A work event at 8 a.m. on a Monday? Just admit you don't want to help a woman in need instead of making up some ridiculous story." Miller, it's not that hard to say no. That was it. That flipped the switch. I realized I was standing there arguing that I was less qualified than she thought, which is honestly the dumbest hill. But Patty spun around like we'd insulted her entire existence. She looked at the coupon, then at us, her face tightening, and snapped, "What? There are two of us. You're only giving one. Can't you give me one too?" Anna just stared, confused. "Excuse me? I only have one." Patty gave us this intense stare, scanning us like she was searching for a uniform that didn't exist, and then dropped the line that summed up everything. "Oh, I thought you were giving out coupons for the store. You're not employees." It was like the idea of someone being kind for no reason just didn't compute for her. It had to be transactional, something she was owed. Anna, quick as ever, just tossed back, "By the way, you're welcome for that coupon," as we walked away. It was a small victory, sure, but it just added fuel to my growing suspicion that the world had lost its mind. The next day proved it again at the superstore. I was hunting for discounted chocolate in a gray hoodie over a light blue tee, and the candy aisle looked like a post-Halloween war zone. But somehow, something nice happened, a little community formed. I found Twix for a guy named Sam, he found Take Fives for me, and suddenly there were 5 of us helping each other out, calling things out and digging through the mess. I even put some random Christmas decorations back where they belonged. That's when Miss Trixie, rocking sequin zebra print leggings, cornered me. She'd clearly seen the blue shirt under my hoodie and decided I must work there. "Hey, where's the pizza sauce?" she snapped. Probably a few aisles over with the rest of the sauces, ma'am, I said, already turning to leave. Ready to check out? No, show me. I don't know what I need. I sighed. Ma'am, I don't work here. I'm just here for leftover Halloween candy. Look for someone in a vest. The look she gave me could have spoiled milk. She made that annoyed grunt, you know the one, and then hit me with, then why are you helping people, handing out candy, and putting stuff away? And right there, that was the whole problem. In her world, if you're helpful, you must be an employee. If you're an employee, you're property. And if you're property, you're supposed to obey. Thankfully, Sam jumped in with, because she's not a jerk, leave her alone. Ms. Trixie flushed bright pink and stormed off, defeated. That small moment of teamwork reminded me not everyone is like that, but it still didn't stop the universe from trying everything it could to test my patience.